All right, let's give somebody a chance to win our free money question of the day from Hobica. Chance at $1, $2, or $300. The seventh caller on the line is John in Remsen. Who is standing by right now? John, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, you ready to go here, John? You're going to have exactly 7 seconds to answer our question. But first, let's figure out what we're playing for. Is it $1, $2, or $300 in cash? Here we go.
$300.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Going for the $300. All right, here's your deal. The flag. This flag is red with yellow stars. How many small stars on the flag of China? Ready? Go.
I want to say 4.
You're going to go with 4. Final answer?
Yes.
Is it? There are 5 stars on the Chinese flag.
Well, what are you going to do?
My question was, how many small stars are on the Chinese flag? The answer is 4! $300! How about that, huh?
That's awesome.
I think I was more excited than you were there, John.
Is he eligible? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
John, congratulations. You have won $300 in cash from the
That's
Hobica
great.
Law
Thank
Firm.
you.
Pretty cool. Now, did you just take a wild guess at that flag?
I was trying to picture it in my mind. I wanted to say 4, and that's what
you
showed
won
up
4.
there.
And there are 5 stars. So there's one larger star, and then in a circular fashion, there are 4 additional golden stars on the Chinese flag. All right, Andrew's going to hook you up. Congratulations, $300. John and Remsen, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right. He was very excited. That $300 popped up there.
Wow.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love giving away Joe Hobica's money.
I was just going to say, we haven't heard from Joe Hobica in a couple of days.
That's because I keep giving his money away. He's thinking if he doesn't come in, right?
Then he doesn't have to pay up?
At least I asked tough. I think the last time he was in, I might have asked the caller, what color is Joe Hobica's yellow tie?
That was your question.
That was a good question. Jim Zecca, very happy man today. Can't believe we haven't heard from him yet.
I can't believe we didn't hear him outside yelling.
I thought he'd be outside with a sign. But here he is right now on the phone line right now on the big win last night. Trump supporter James Zecca. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. And talk about excited. What a night last night. Oh, my God. All our volunteers did a hell of a job. We ran into John Zogby at one of the New Hartford polling places we were rallying at. And he says, I can't guess anything anymore.
No, listen, it's but I got to tell you that he was. Everybody said Trump. There's no way, but I don't think anybody's saying that anymore.
No, not at all. Not at this point. 56% in Oneida County.
Yeah,
Hold on, 56% here in Oneida County, and actually Bernie Sanders, won Oneida County.
I know,
almost 56%.
Yeah.
So that tells you that people are just fed up with the status quo, and they're looking for something a lot different than what we've been getting.
Well, I have to tell you, though, the Bernie Sanders thing, that's awesome that they're looking for a big change, but they're going nowhere really, really fast, unfortunately. Trump, on the other hand, there's no denying, I guess there could be. He's got to get to that 1237. That's the only sure way in, though, Jim, because the fear is that the delegates will be really mounting against him in Cleveland at the convention.
Well, here's the plan. We have been talking with, the main office and Carl Palladino's folks. They have a very well-organized call center, and they're asking all the volunteers now to hone in and concentrate on the remaining states, so we can start calling the remaining states as volunteers to help out. And it's a really organized system. It started in New Hampshire when we were down in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Half of us worked on that system, and half of us just actually did door knocking. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if Carl's going to be sending any more buses down, but I think he's going to get a lot more volunteers this time if they want to go to Pennsylvania or some of the other states.
What is the inspiration for somebody like you that with Trump? Because I mean, it's not only you're supporting him and you're vehemently supporting him, but you're putting time, effort, and money into this.
Yeah, well, we had a nice celebration last night at Tiny's. Of course, Joanne does a great job down there at Tiny's, and we had all the folks that were supporting him from actually Herkimer County, Oneida County, Madison County. We all came together, all the people that volunteered their services and time, and celebrated last night. It was nice. It was really nice.
Well, listen.
I've been waiting a long time for this, to be honest with you. I was a big Ross Perot supporter, and I thought back then that he was the answer to a lot of our needs in our country, and look what has happened since then.
Yeah.
Everything he said really came true, and quite honestly, Trump is talking the same way Ross Perot did in a lot of ways. I mean, not everything, and he's a little more brash than Ross Perot was, but that did it for me. That really did it for me.
I gotta tell you, I've heard multiple people say that you guys were outside every polling location in the Utica area yesterday.
We were actually trying to focus on the Republican. We were very strategic. We have a limited number of people and a limited amount of time. Everybody's working, but we did target the Republican polling places that we knew were going to be heavy Republican polling places.
Yeah,
and it worked. We knew we were in good shape as the people were exiting, and they were beeping and giving us a thumbs up. So we were counting those people as they were leaving.
How are you going to handle the? Because it does seem that this new ground game being put into place for Trump is really changing his demeanor just a little bit. So if he's not the guy that's saying, not yelling that we're gonna, the Mexicans are gonna make him build the wall, we're gonna block Muslims from the country. If he's kind of toning down the rhetoric, will that? I mean, are you okay with that, or does that make him less? Are you less enthusiastic?
No. I think he needs to really hone in on detail now. When you run a primary like that with so many people, it's really hard to get into really detail of your platform. And you got to motivate people. He's done a good job at motivating people to get to the polls, especially independents. And remember, we didn't even have independents voting in this election here in New York because you can't. It's a closed primary state. So we're going to get back into some of these other primary states that are either open or semi-open. That's going to be really interesting to see how the independents react to this. If they go to Hillary or they go to Trump.
All right, Jim, we appreciate the time, and congratulations on your victory last night. Okay.
Thanks,
All right. On the line right now is political consultant Harlan Hill. Harlan, is that true? Are these next upcoming primaries going to be favorable to Trump in that way, that some of them are going to be open where independents can vote?
Absolutely. That's a great point. And then I just think that the demographics in some of these upcoming states really favor him. Yeah, you're looking at everything from Connecticut to New Jersey. He will play well in these states, not just in the primaries, but actually looking forward to the general election too.
1237. Does he get there?
I believe he does, just by the skin of his teeth. Probably about 1241, something like that.
Okay, all right.
But I think that he gets there regardless. I cannot fathom a scenario in which the Republican Party nominates a candidate that did not win the popular vote and did not win by, it wasn't even close.
But don't you have to, though?
Far out ahead in the popular.
But doesn't it really say, though, if you can't get to 1237, you're not the strong candidate that, the reason that's there is to say, if you can't get to 1237, then you're not strong enough to be the candidate. We're going to find somebody else. That's really why it's there. What is wrong with that? That
presumes that a lesser candidate that got even fewer delegates has more of a right.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's true. And I think that there's a tremendous difference between coming in, not with 900 delegates,
right,
and coming in with 1,100 or 1,200 and just being short, just barely.
Yeah, I guess I wish that all rules were like that in America. Like, it's 60, the speed limit's 60, but if you're doing, I was just doing 64, I should be fine. And I guess in some cases, some police officers let you off with that stuff. But all right, on the Democrat side, is it all? But Hillary's saying they're about 80% there. Is she? Are we setting up the Hillary Trump election? Are we there?
We're there. Look, a little bit of background on me. I'm a Democratic consultant. I've done over 120 races exclusively for Democrats. I cannot stand this woman. I think that she is... No, I'm serious. She has a 30-year track record.
Yeah.
Lies, deceit, fraud. She has no business being back in the White House.
Yeah.
So I held my nose, and I've supported Sanders. But I see now that he's done. He's done. New York was his last stand.
Yeah.
It was never his to win, but if he won it, it changed the dynamic of the race.
I felt that
It didn't happen. Wasn't even close.
Tell me what you think, because last night when they weren't announcing, they announced Trump with the win, and nobody had projected Hillary, and it'd been like, I don't know, it was almost 9:30. No one had projected Hillary the winner, and I'm starting to send out my messages. Okay, it's got to be close because this is it for Hillary. Get Joe Biden ready because he's going to be coming in. If she lost last night, or if it was like dead even, do you think Biden would have jumped in?
I don't think he would have jumped in. The truth is that the groundswell of support that Sanders has been able to build is real.
Yeah,
he's been able to tap into real. Oh, I won't even say it's enthusiasm. I think it's desperation. I don't think that the majority of Sanders supporters are socialists. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
they're desperate. Their kids graduating from college with $250,000 in debt, no jobs. That's what this is about. And but he's been able to tap into that in a way that I don't think Joe Biden would have even been able to do.
And here's a question, and I've heard this from some of these kids that, and you say, listen, you don't understand the politics. What are you doing? So they support Bernie Sanders, and they say, well, if Bernie Sanders doesn't get in, who are you going to vote for? And their answer is Trump. So
I've been saying that.
I've been saying
right.
That I think
for a month.
So, Harlan, is that you said that you've been a Democratic consultant and you can't stand Hillary Clinton. Are you voting for Trump?
I am.
Wow. Yeah, I think that
this makes me tremendously unpopular amongst my friends.
I'll bet.
But you're honest. But you're honest, Harlan.
But it's the truth. And there's actually a lot of commonality between a candidate like Sanders and Trump. Not in their solutions, but in the problems that they are pointing to. Everything from trade, to wage stagnation, and tax policy. So their solutions are different.
There's also
Sanders
there's also a shake-up factor here, right? Absolutely. I mean, both of these candidates are shake-up. Yeah. So very interesting, and the general thinking is, well, all these Bernie fans are just going to go right over to Hillary. Who else would they vote for? Well, I don't know. Could be Trump. Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to be working to make that a reality.
All right. Now, Harlan Hill. Andrew, last question.
I had a really quick question. If we go to the uncontested brokered convention for the Republicans, that's Kasich's big strategy now is to kind of, coast into the convention. He believes that Trump won't get the delegates. How is he so sure that the Republican Party in that uncontested convention won't pick Cruz?
Well, I think that Kasich's play is that, Cruz is almost universally loathed by everyone in Washington.
Yeah.
And that they would never pick him, and he's right. Under normal circumstances, they would not pick Cruz over almost anybody. But I think what he's missing is that the Republican establishment is so afraid of what Donald Trump represents that they may hold their nose and support.
Well, it's the entire Republican establishment that hates Cruz and all of New York, because he had a poor turnout yesterday.
Embarrassing.
Yeah,
embarrassing for Cruz.
Ben Carson beat him in one district yesterday. Very surprising. All right, Harlan, thanks so much. Love having you on. Thank you.
Thanks,
Harlan Hill. Isn't that interesting? Mm-hmm. Doesn't that say a lot?
Some of his tweets are #NeverHillary.
Yeah.
But he is, and he acknowledged he's alone there. Within his group,
he's alone.
He's a minority big time.
By the way, best tweet of this last quarter hour. Are you ready? Speaking about Jim Zecca and his crew over at Tiny's.
Yeah.
After the Trump victory, and I quote, "They were all down at Tiny's drinking the Trump Kool-Aid." Here's Christine with an update, 7:54. Oh, actually... we have news. I'm way behind here. Let me break instead. We'll do news top of the hour. Hold on. Hold your horses. Coming right back at WIBX.